Hello ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are all doing exceptionally well today. I've got a very interesting video to cover. I got recently quite inspired as I've been playing a lot of Warframe, and while I'm not particularly a Warframe channel of any particular discretion, I am just very passionate and I thought it'd be very cool to act on that passion, so I hope you'll indulge me. Today I want to go through some of the older Warframes, specifically the first one alphabetically, Ash, and I want to take a look at his kit. And I want to update it in how I would interpret it. Now, things to know about me is that I'm not an Ash main. I'm not an Ash main, and for a lot of these Warframes, I will not play them regularly. I also will only be speaking on Warframes that I've personally played. So there are some in this first instance here, when we're going through like A, B, and C, that I have not played. Examples being Caliban, examples being Baruch. These are Warframes that I do not have and cannot comment on, because I'm not really familiar with them, and I don't think it's my place to do so. I hope that's okay. We are now going to take a look at Ash, because I believe that with the things like the helmet system, you can have a lot of variety and you can bring a lot to the less powerful Warframes. However, I still believe that the less powerful Warframes, or the more outdated Warframes, still need to be having a look at, to be quite honest with you. So, what we're going to have a look at now is Ash's abilities, and I'm going to go through each of his abilities, and I'm going to try and create a more synergistic kit where I believe is appropriate, and show you my thought process on if I were to take these Warframes that I believe are a little bit outdated feature-wise and been a bit feature-crapped, and take them and move them into a more appropriate role as they should be right now. In any case, let's have a look at Ash himself. So, starting things off, Ash's passive ability, and we will, by the way, be going over passive abilities for all of these Warframes. Passive abilities, all their active abilities, their sub-zoom, which is important because the sub-zoom system allows you to take abilities from Warframes, and it's a standardized ability, and put it on a different Warframe. So we will get to that as well. Let's have a look at Ash's passive. Ash, by the way, is the quintessential, when they say ninjas play free, Ash is who we're talking about here. Ash is the ninja Warframe. Okay? So his passive ability says that slash status effects inflicted on enemies do 25% increased damage and last 50% longer. So that's honestly a really inoffensive passive. I think that's genuinely quite fine. I could even go as far as to say that that doesn't even need to be changed. I don't necessarily have any particular comments on it. The one thing I would like to add though, and this will go into kind of what I'm trying to do with Ash going forward, and with what has happened to a lot of, I suppose I also haven't addressed it. Yeah, I have curly hair now. I hope that's okay. Yeah, I've got, look at this. It's cool, isn't it? But Ash specifically, I believe that we can change a lot of this, and especially because I have some of my own opinions about some of the other abilities that are in the sub-zoom system, so I wanted to kind of address those as well. So, I think this passive, again, is completely fine. What I would consider changing it to, though, is that while Ash is either invisible, or specifically I'd like to say while Ash is in smokescreen, because, you know, with the Cyto 9's evade ability, I think that could undermine Ash's ability. So I think maybe while Ash is in smokescreen, or while an enemy is affected by a slash proc that you have produced, I think the invisibility is more what I would like to go for. But while Ash is concealed by smokescreen, Ash's combo duration increases. So the way I initially thought about it was that his rate of combo decay goes down, which is basically just increasing combo duration. So while Ash is concealed by smokescreen, his combo duration increases. What I think this is a really good thing for, by the way, is that this could take out the need for like a combo duration mod slot. The other interesting thing is that I'd like this combo duration to affect ability combo as well, which you may think, well, that doesn't really make sense because Ash, as far as I'm aware, Ash only has ability combo on his 4. Cool, yeah, awesome, we'll get to that as well. So, I think personally that either while enemies are affected by a slash proc, or more appropriately for what I think personally, is that while Ash is concealed by smokescreen, his combo duration is increased, or his rate of combo decay is decreased, however you want to word it. I think that is a really nice change to his passive ability, which we'll get into a lot of the other things because I know he has a few other things going on, so we will get to those as well. But let's go into his first ability and his sub-zoom ability. This is Shuriken. It launches a spinning blade of pain, dealing high damage, impaling enemies to walls. It has a relatively inoffensive casting cost. I have a streamline mod on here, but sorry about that. I was going to do potentially a showcase, but it's all right. It shoots out 5 shurikens, and it does 750 damage. Now, something to note here is, and this is something I wanted to test, is does the number of shurikens scale with power strength? Because again, it does not. So this is something interesting. The number of shurikens does not scale with power strength. So the number of shurikens will always be 5 by the looks of it. I don't know if there would be anything else that would allow that to change. So that's going to be really important for what we're going to be talking about here. So I think this ability is fine. I think that it is unfortunately underpowered in the sense of using its augment ability, which we will also talk about here, which allows it to, on hit, expose enemy weaknesses, reducing enemy armor by 70% for 8 seconds. Now this augment can scale with power strength, and what that can end up looking like, if I simulate something here and I swap my configuration around, is something like this. Hopefully it will show appropriately. Do I have Seeking Shuriken? Yeah, I know I don't want one of these. So, Seeking Shuriken, as you can see, armor strips. Now, one of the most interesting things about Seeking Shuriken is that although you're shooting out 5 projectiles, these can get stuck on things. If, for instance, you try and throw them and there's an enemy in the way, it's really weird. Like, they have some weird collision physics which prevent the Seeking Shuriken from actually armor stripping sometimes. So what I would like to do to change this ability is, for one, I would like to give it an ability combo. This will be the second ability that has an ability combo with Part of Ash's kit. The other one is Bladestorm is 4th. And what this will do is that per ability combo, the number of shurikens will increase by that number. So at 1 ability combo, he'll get an extra shuriken. At 2 ability combo, and now we have a really interesting interplay between his shuriken and his smokescreen with his passive. So we'll get to smokescreen in a second, but if you think about his passive, while he's under the effects of smokescreen, invisibility / proc, whatever we wanted to articulate it as, his combo duration increases. So, and that would also count for ability combo duration. So you wouldn't need to be throwing out shuriken back constantly. Of course, if you're using Bladestorm a lot as well, you may not even need to do that in the first place, but I just thought I'd articulate it in that manner. Next up, let's have a look at the augment again. I think this is absolutely fine. I think there's nothing wrong with this augment at all, and I just want to make sure that there are equally powerful options for Ash as an armor stripping capability, and I think having an ability combo would make this a very nice sub-zoom ability, because again, you have to sub-zoom it and then you have to put an augment on, and in this day where we have so much demand for a mod slot, having that ability combo be tied to the ability, I think would be awesome. That's my honest take on Seeking Shuriken. We're going to go on to Smokescreen. Smokescreen drops a smoke bomb, stuns enemies in a nearby area, and obscures their vision, rendering Ash invisible for a short time. Now, this duration is pretty short. It is a 12-second duration at base. It has the ability to stun in a 10-meter radius, and it has an augment ability which allows it, sorry, I'm failing my parkour here. It has an augment ability which allows it to have allies benefit from the cloak, and as a result of that, gain critical chance. I don't own this augment mod personally. I do own this augment mod, but I think it's a really interesting one. Giving 100%, 150% critical chance. Now again, I don't know all the numbers. That's not really my thing. I just want to make some comments about this. I think that the augment mod is completely fine. I have nothing that I'd like to add about this. You could also potentially do that it is a status cleanse, but honestly, I think that might be overloading the augment mod a little bit too much. So I think that this, completely fine. Absolutely fine. You could also, I suppose, put a line of text in there for like dealing with slash specifically, like maybe slash procs of a greater crit chance, or like something like, or crit damage, slash damage is amplified, I don't know. But I think personally, this, and that'd be like while invisible, by the way. So I think that this augment mod is incredible. I think it's great. The thing that I would potentially think about the base version of this augment mod is that the stun could potentially open up enemies to finishers. But then that, I think, would be too powerful for the base ability, as I think that would kind of tread on the toes of Excalibur's Radial Blind. Not that that's a bad thing, it's fine for, things to have similar functions, but because this is supposed to be a get off me tool, I think that this ability is kind of completely fine, and especially if we've buffed the passive, then I think this ability needs no changes. If we have it so that the passive, while you're in the effects of Smoke Bomb, decreases the decay rate of combo, or it increases combo duration, however you want to word it, then I think that this ability is already being vicariously buffed by that. And I think this gives a really nice loop, even in these first two abilities with the passive, where you are going invisible and then you are using your abilities and you're weaving things around, where you come out of smoke screen, you're going back into smoke screen, or you're just keeping smoke screen up. You're casting shuriken, but you're not needing to feel like you need to throw shuriken like all the time. And this is really interesting interplay of these abilities. That's what I'm kind of going for here. Teleport, now this is really interesting because I think the wiki hasn't updated this yet, but you teleport to a target and perform a finisher. If it kills the target, he regains a portion of the energy spent. This used to be that you just teleported to a target, and the actual finisher portion, I believe, was part of the augment mod. So now I believe that was the case. I don't necessarily know. It's been a very long time. But I think this ability is fine. I would love it if it also had ability combo. Just an idea. So now we have literally all of his damaging abilities scaling with ability combo. I just think that could be neat, and it could kind of give this, not necessarily urgency, but this flow where you continuously see your efforts rewarded. The shuriken are getting more powerful and you're getting more of them per thing that you're throwing out. But if you're throwing out too many, you may be running low on energy. The teleport then gains benefit, or even, and this I think could be really interesting, is that the teleport functions like a heavy attack and consumes all of your ability combo to like deal even more damage. I think that could be really fucking cool, pardon my words, but potentially probably better for the augment mod. But that's my case. That's my case for it. I just think this also scaling with an ability combo would be great. And also, when we take a look at the augment, when the finisher deals an extra 200% damage, 50% of the energy is front on a kill. Look, this augment mod I think must be outdated, because reading that sounds exactly like what they've done. So it looks like this augment probably doesn't exist anymore, but it should do, right? Because I definitely have it on my Warframe. I remember seeing it. Let's actually have a look real quick, because that description doesn't feel accurate anymore. Teleport Rush. There it is. Okay, so this is the changed one. So using teleport increases parkour velocity by 30% for 12 seconds. Executing a target with teleport extends smoke scenes. Amazing. There we go. Yeah, awesome. So this augment I think is perfect, especially in line with what we're going for. This augment, again, allows us to weave our abilities really nicely, where executing a target with this and while being in smoke screen extends its duration, and the kills with it will just reset it entirely. Incredible, absolutely, yep, amazing. In that case, I may not even care too much to add like the ability combo to it. I think this augment actually changes it a lot, and I wasn't working off of this augment's information, so my apologies. But I think this is a good augment. I think this is fine. I think it works very, very well for the case that we're going for here, where Ash is using his abilities to weave around the battlefield and assassinate people. Again, I think the mechanic of like consuming ability combo to deal increased damage, or maybe like have a crit chance or something, could be really cool, but it's entirely unnecessary. This is a finisher at the end of the day, it's a finisher. This also does beg an interesting question of actually, we don't even need to. We got Shadow Clones Prime here. This is the other question, is that like, should we have an exalted weapon? We have the Shadow Clones. Maybe your shuriken and your teleport should benefit from the Shadow Clones. I don't necessarily think so. I think them having their base with an ability multiplier is absolutely fine, personally. Okay, and his last ability, Blade Storm. You project fierce shadow clones upon distant enemies, and you can join the fray using teleport. For those who didn't know, a long time ago, that used to be how Ash actually played, like his teleport ability. used to be that instead of marking enemies like we do here, and then pressing it and you see your shadow clones go out, it used to be this animation here, where you would be in the fray, kind of doing all of this yourself. And it was cool, but obviously it took you out of the gameplay loop, so I'm glad it's been changed. But at base, you mark some enemies and your shadow clones go to work. Now that's pretty cool. I think that's really neat. And as you can see, it has an ability multiplier. It has ability combo. In the center there, if I just look at these guys real quick, you can see in the center, there's ability combo. So I think having this interplay of more of his abilities, having ability combo, is the way to go personally. Now, the augment mod for Bladestorm is Rising Storm. So this increases your melee combo counter by 4 and increases your combo duration by 10. So again, I just think this is a fine augment, personally. I think it is fine. The main comments that I have about the changes that could be made to this is potentially, I don't believe that Ashe is invulnerable in the teleport Bladestorm. I think that could be a nice oh shit button, but again, if he's invisible all the time, not necessary. So what I mean by that is when you do this, you'll notice Ashe's health bar is still visible. But again, if you're in smokescreen, it's not necessary. So I think that's still absolutely fine. I think Bladestorm is kind of fine as it is. And again, it's these subtle changes, because I've not really done a whole lot. I've just said like add an ability combo and added maybe a few features here and there. But I believe that maybe even just by changing the passive ability, we've made Ashe way more coherent. The thing about the augment mod as well, though, I did have this written down. I do think the augment mod is kind of fine, to be completely honest with you. I think that increasing your melee combo counter is completely fine. If we wanted to kind of recover some of that dealing with slash procs that we kind of lose if we change the passive ability, I think it could be really interesting if you had an augment mod which consumed all slash procs, like Expedite Suffering, and dealt them all immediately as part of this. So what you then have in like a functional sense, I suppose, would be you'd have the ability to use slash weapons or just his one to apply slash to enemies, you mark them all, and it casts something similar to Expedite Suffering on those enemies, which, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Expedite Suffering, as far as I'm aware, takes all of the damage over time effects and applies them instantly. And I think that would be a really interesting way of increasing the potency of that, while also weaving in more of those slash elements that we would have lost elsewhere. And that's literally everything. That is everything from top to bottom about this character. And I think the changes made here would make Ashe feel like his abilities are all synergistic, and that's what I really want here. Ashe, by the looks of it, has a lot of some good stuff in a lot of different areas, but I just think that adding, maybe it literally feels like it's just the passive ability, but let's look at this how it would be. So, passive ability is benefiting when you're invisible, increasing your combo duration, and this is for ability combo as well. So then you have invisibility. You drop a smoke screen, you're invisible, etc., etc. While you're invisible, casting Shuriken has an ability combo. The ability combo scales the number of Shurikens. If you have the augment mod, those armor strip. The ability combo also will increase the damage of those Shurikens, etc. Teleport, again, could consume ability combo to kill someone really well and amplify the finisher damage. I think that'd be awesome. You've got Bladestorm, which you can use to mark enemies and kill enemies. Again, it just... And all of these have ability combos. So you have Shuriken that can build ability combo, you have Bladestorm that can build ability combo, you have like Teleport that can consume ability combo if you want to. I think that'd be really, really interesting. And even if we didn't have the consume ability combo as base to Teleport, I think it could be interesting as part of the augment to Teleport. In any case, that has been my breakdown of how I think Ashe should be buffed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The next Warframe is Atlas. So let me know what you guys think about this video, and hopefully we'll get through as many of these Warframes as we can. So thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.